a bad week. Gears Marcus Fenix collection? Fall Guys going free to play with the release of the Xbox and Switch versions. Extra, extra, hear all about it.
Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast where cats supersede women's bodies. JK, that's crazy. I'm the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater, if you are on Twitter or Twitch. And joining me is twitch.tv/LMJ the Hitman Landen.
Oh! Yeah.
I thought about after saying your name going do, but I figured that would interrupt whatever you wanted to do.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to follow that up. I'm here.
Yeah. No one expects a haiku from me. I don't have that kind of brain, but I did this time. And of course, he is not my only co-host. I am joined by the somber puppet from YouTube, James. You're alive.
I'm back.
Welcome, good sir.
Yes. Pleasure to return. Possibly, maybe. I guess it depends what we're talking about.
We're going to be talking about quite a bit. Some of it bad, some of it not bad. But you'll just have to find out here in a second. But of course, this is Extra Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast, covering the news leading up to Sunday, May 22nd, 2022. And if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/thebriefingroom. Let's get to some news. Oh, and by the way, Patreon, next week we should be caught up with our Patreon content, so hey!
Woohoo!
Anyway, Sony's bad week. Sony, we weren't originally going to be talking about this because the story literally broke. We made the joke about Microsoft affecting our show by having late news. This Sony news literally broke while we were recording the podcast last week. During the time, I literally ended the podcast, went to Twitter, and it was just blowing up there. It's like, really? Couldn't have waited? But Sony can't seem to stay out of the news, so we can continue talking about this. So Jim Ryan, the PlayStation CEO, sent a company-wide email regarding the Roe v. Wade news. PlayStation is multifaceted and diverse, holding many different points of view. We owe it to each other and to PlayStation's millions of users to respect differences in opinions among everyone in our internal and external communities. Respect does not equal agreement, but it is fundamental to who we are as a company and a valued global brand. He went on to then write 5 paragraphs about his 2 cats' birthdays and desire for a dog. Employees were not happy because there was and there was fan backlash because Bungie, a studio currently being acquired by Sony, had already put out a public statement regarding their pro-choice stance, which we will get to in a minute because that continues. Insomniac went to donate $50,000 to Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Program. with Sony matching that donation as well as any individual donations after Insomniac had sent a 60-page, or was it 60? I don't remember how many pages. I actually mistyped, I think. I think it was 6 pages, not 60, but I can look that up here in a little bit. A letter to Sony asking them to do better. Sony is now working with Insomniac to provide financial aid to employees who have to travel to other states to receive reproductive care. Despite the help, Ted Price, the CEO of Insomniac, said that Sony will not allow its studios like Insomniac to make statements on the matter, noting that doing so would severely restrict public-facing work in the future. Prior to Jim Ryan's email, as we mentioned before, the soon-to-be-acquired studio Bungie had put out a statement saying, "The leaked draft decision by the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade represents a blow to freedom in America and is a direct attack on human rights. Standing up for reproductive choice and liberty is not a difficult decision to make, and Bungie remains dedicated to upholding these values." Their social media person then went on to savagely slay trolls in the comments. At SkillUp YT posted his concern that this Sony nuzzle will keep Bungie from doing this in the future, which was then replied to by a Bungie community manager who said he believes there is no muzzle big enough to stop us from standing up for what's right, to which the CEO of Bungie, Pete Parsons, replied with, "Yes." Alright, guys, so there's a lot there to take in. Like I said, this has been breaking throughout the week. What do you guys think?
Lathan has the floor.
First of all, hell yeah, Bungie for standing out, and you know, they just got acquired by Sony, so kind of like a middle finger right to their own company, saying, you know, we think completely differently. Not defending Jim Ryan at all. I don't want to make it sound like this, but this dude is new, fairly new, I believe, being in charge. And what do they say? If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
You should just fucking not say anything at all. Why? Why? The stories about the cats and wanting a dog.
That was a choice.
Oh my gosh, that was a choice. No one stood up and like, hey, Mr. Jim Ryan, maybe this is a bad idea.
Okay, it's a near 60-page document. Yeah, you would think that lawyers, like, it had to be proofread by lawyers, right? How did they approve that? Like, the only thing I can think of is they're like, oh, this will make you look like a little bit more of a human and kind of humanize you while you're making this, you know, obviously very robotic corporate statement. But that definitely did not happen. It made him look out of touch at best and ignorant at worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure, ignorant. Oh, yeah. There's probably no coming back from that for a while, to be honest. So he'll probably not be in the limelight for a while. They'll have to just put somebody else.
You can get thrown under the bus for something you said 10 years ago anymore. It's
yeah.
like he's not going to live that down.
No, he's definitely not.
It's out there. It's on the internet. It's not going anywhere.
His cat stories are on the internet.
I just wrote a haiku about it, so there you go. Now that lives on the internet forever, too. James, do you have anything to say before I go off?
I mean, it's just... I hate how... Like, again, I'm not saying for either side on this, but just... how expressing your personal ideals or your group's thoughts on things, like how it's, if it conflicts the majority or like a specific group in any way. It's like your entire thing's done. You're going to have to go through hell and high water for the next handful of years before you even get past the thick of the situation you put yourself in just by stating what you think.
Yeah, here's the thing with Jim Ryan, and the problem with PlayStation in general, I would say, is PlayStation is trying to do this thing that even Nintendo doesn't do, where they're trying to make it like a faceless company where, but the fact is, people will always put a face. And right now, Jim Ryan and Mark Cerny are the faces of PlayStation. And Mark Cerny, he's very endearing. I guess I would say he's endearing, but he lacks the personality. Like, he is very much, his passion is, the technical aspects of it, but
I think he might be medically passionless.
Yeah, but but he doesn't show that passion. He's very much a robot. And then Jim Ryan cannot not say something that people will make fun of. Like, as far as crossplay, when PlayStation was being called out for not having crossplay with other platforms, it was Jim Ryan that's like, well, we need to protect the children. It's like, fuck off. Like, you think...
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, you think Microsoft or Nintendo want children to be bullied or whatever the fuck you think is happening on those platforms? No.
Again, just don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Just don't say it.
And then you have his comments about when Xbox announced that the Series X and S are going to be fully backwards compatible. You have his comments saying, no one wants to play older games. Then you have when PlayStation was called out for not having first-party games day one for their new, revamped service. You have him saying that PlayStation games are on a virtuous cycle. And it's like, okay, is this some sort of righteous religious war? Like, virtuous? What the fuck are you talking about?
An indirect way of saying, yeah, that thing that we trashed a little bit ago, yeah, we're doing that now.
Yeah. Yeah, he has said a lot of things, which makes me think that he's not gonna be able to live this down. Whether he stays in his position or not, I think he will. I don't see him being replaced anytime soon by the board or anything, but he has this habit of opening his mouth and saying stuff that just either doesn't make sense or is easily memed in a bad way, not in a good way. But it's like, if only there was an option where people could believe what they believe and, like, I don't know, choose whether or not they want to be for abortion or against abortion. If only there was some sort of choice that they could make. If there was an option like that, I don't know. If only people could choose,
Conform.
Yeah, no, I don't... This whole story has been a choice, to say the least, on his part. Yeah, and I'll echo what you mentioned, Landen, because I do feel like this needs to be put on display more. I love that Bungie not only put out a statement at the very beginning, but then they doubled down and they're like, listen, we don't care what the repercussions are. We will always do what we need to do. Also, like, it's weird to say, I think I think Bungie, once they're acquired by Sony, will have a little bit more leeway of breaking Sony's rules a little bit compared to Insomniac, as crazy as that sounds. Because as good of a studio as Insomniac is, they're doing what PlayStation studios have already been doing, whereas PlayStation right now has made it very clear that their intention is to get into the live service market more. And so Bungie's like the best at live service, and they just got acquired specifically because they're good at live service. So I think as far as that's concerned, they have a little bit more importance than Insomniac for that reason. But I don't know what you guys think about that. That's
I don't know. I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. I was just saying that it's crazy to think that Insomniac would have less say than Bungie, but thinking about it that way.
True, but it seems like the kind of company, I don't know, they have like the company itself has a personality. I would say they do a pretty good job at, I don't know, even if it's against their own boss, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't think they give a shit about what anybody thinks. They usually they've had their own personality as a company for a while. Well, I take that back a little bit because, you know, Insomniac's fairly new to Sony, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even they've had a friendship for a long time, but they're like in the last, I think, 3 or 4 years they got bought by Sony. I kind of
it was, what was it? It was right after Spider-Man, right? Or was it right before?
I think you're right. I think they got they made Spider-Man. It was a humongous success, and they're like, and now you're ours.
Yeah. So that was 2017, I believe. Or when was Spider-Man?
2018. Yeah, 2018. Same year as God of War. What a good year.
That was a good year. And 2017 had Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a good time to be a gamer.
And Mario
It's
Odyssey.
been that long.
2017, 2018 was crazy good years.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like counting the years that these games come out. It's just like, wow, so many years have gone by. It's like,
Yeah.
I thought that just came out.
Yeah, no, I remember being at the midnight launch for the Switch. That's the only console I've been at the midnight launch for.
You had it switched on the first day it was out?
Yeah.
Nice job.
I waited at the Walmart in the area, and it's funny. I waited at the Walmart in the area, but I had pre-ordered the games from GameStop, so I had to grab my Switch and then run to GameStop, pick up my games, and then go home.
Oh boy, I've never been able to make it to a launch of them.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I have a launch PS4. I was like the first and second people in line, me and my roommate. First, second people in line to pick up our PS4s. And I didn't get a PS5 on launch, unfortunately. But a couple weeks after, I was luckily able to grab me one.
I'm hoping I can get one here soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do that as well.
I'm waiting on the Gears of War Series X.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of Gears of War...
Yeah, buddy.
So this story comes from a Nick Baker of Xbox Era. He's the one that's kind of hinting and reporting about it. There's been no official word, I will say, on it. But apparently they are working on a Gears of War Master Chief Collection style game.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the Master Chief Collection was originally released with Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then ODST and Reach being released after. And they featured graphical upgrades to all of the Halo games, as well as every multiplayer map, including DLC maps. So just apply that logic to Gears, with the graphical upgrades and all of the Gears maps, which there were a lot of Gears maps, if I remember. They made so many.
A lot to say.
All right, go off.
Oh boy.
All right, so before I start with one, I want to ask Dean, maybe Master Chief Collection, when it had 1, 2, 3, was 1 the remake that they did for 1 back in like 2010? Was it the Combat Evolved? Like,
yeah, it was.
Go back and forth.
It was the anniversary version of 1.
Okay, so I figured. So they only had to really port that into 4K. I'm assuming. Well,
yeah.
I don't even know if that game was 4K, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So was 2 and 3 remade like 1?
2 was remade like 1. 3 was just basically upgrading the game's code enough that it could display properly, because I believe 3 was only made for up to 720, so they had to do enough to make it be able to upscale.
Okay.
But
So,
yeah.
I mean, what I'm getting at is, Gears of War 1 was already had their their anniversary version, I guess, and it was upgraded in the newer graphics. Looks great.
Yeah.
Still plays fairly old,
Yeah.
but it looks phenomenal. I wonder if they're just gonna do that with 2 and 3, and then call it a day, or I mean, maybe even throw in 4. I guess with 5, like it's a collection.
Yeah.
So I mean, did the Master Chief Collection came out before 5? So it was 1 through 4, right?
Yes.
It was 1 through 4.
Yeah, it was 1 through 4 for sure. I think 5 came after. 5 is still not on the Master Chief Collection.
No, 5's still standalone.
Yeah.
They got Reach and ODST, but
Yeah. So.
Interesting. I wonder what they'll do then. I wonder if they'll just add all 5 in there. And really, that's a lot. I honestly don't think so. I think just 1 through 3 is really. I just need the remix for 4.
You think
4 is not that old, and 5
Yeah.
just came out.
Do you think they add Judgment to that collection?
what about Gears Tactics?
I like Gears Tactics. Gears Judgment was okay multiplayer, and a terrible campaign. Like people
Yeah.
can fly, can make good games, but they made a good game if it wasn't Gears of War. Like I want my Gears of War game to not be like what they did with it, not to be like what they did with it.
Yeah, I remember. If I remember correctly, wasn't it almost more Call of Duty than it was Gears as far as?
Yeah, they did a lot of Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah.
Ah,
Very
I
unfortunate.
haven't really played the games much. I love the style of them. The gameplay is fun as can be.
I am such a fanboy for that series.
I think 2 is the one that I've played.
2's a
I've just
really
not
good
had
one.
an Xbox, so
It is a
it's
good
like
one.
I haven't really had an option for it.
I think 2. Honestly, I think 2 might be my favorite.
That's exciting stuff,
The
man. I'd
giant
love
worm.
to play 2 and 3 in a newer engine. I mean,
Yeah.
3 honestly, it still looks pretty good if you ask me. It's 2011 when that game came out, but I think it still kind of holds up.
Yeah, that style seems to. It's not quite ultra realistic, but it's not cartoony either. It's like right there where like there's equal parts both. So I think the animation style can hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like dark and gritty enough to where it's not like not all these bright like God rays, really detailed stuff. It's like it's grungy looking.
Yeah.
So it's like they can kind of get a bit more of a pass on things than other games that would be like well lit throughout the whole thing. I think.
And
like,
that's
clean, pristine looking.
Yeah, let's face it. You can also curb stomp enemies' heads and
Exactly.
stick a gun inside their body with a chainsaw and just.
Yes.
That was my favorite part of the game. Like the giant worm, you go in and cut all the arteries on it, and then just like a tidal wave of blood come flowing out of its side and wash everyone out. It's like, oh, this is so cool.
Outside of maybe the bow, I forget what the bow's called, but outside of that, I think just about everyone, if they have that option, will choose the Lancer just because of the chainsaw.
Oh yeah, that and the flail grenades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Torque bow, isn't
Yeah.
that what it's called? Torque bow?
Well, you just shoot like basically a bow that like if you shoot it hard enough, it'll stick to somebody.
And blow up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Getting a headshot, you literally see their head just bust open. It's great.
Yeah, pretty good headshots in that game. Pretty good headshots.
Did you see?
just the hyper violence. That's I love it.
Did you see
Very
the
much
image
so.
for Velma or whatever the show's called? It's an adult version of Scooby Doo that's being released on HBO Max. Have you seen the image that they showed for that? The preview image?
No, I have
An
not.
adult version of Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it's
It's a supernatural with a dog.
it is murder mystery from what I can see, which I love. I want to see Scooby Doo murder mystery show.
Interesting.
And Velma is played by Mindy Kaling. That's it. Here's the image. Let me save this real quick. And then post it to Discord so you guys can see. Upload file. Downloads. Mindy Kaling. There we go.
What?
Yes, that's Velma.
Oh my lord!
Oh man, it's great.
All right.
Scooby-Doo solves murders. Notice
No think, head empty.
notice how she's in a woman's locker room and the women are not fully dressed either. So there you go. There's that too.
There's the
Oh, I saw
HBO.
Daphne back there.
There's HBO. For you.
I mean, we were talking if anyone does Blood and Guts right, it's HBO. We were talking about that on a post show. I know because I just recently edited it. All right. Anyway, so that's Gears. Now we're gonna move on to Fall Guys. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
No.
No.
So, I'm sorry if you were like me and you bought Fall Guys, because on the 21st of June, so literally a month from now, Fall Guys is going free to play. They are also releasing on Xbox and Switch on those days, which is, 2 years after they said they would release Fall Guys on Xbox and
Yay.
Switch.
Hey, let's just be. Has it been 2 years?
It's been, I believe it was 2020. I believe it was during the pandemic.
Damn, that game is great, and that game has done so well on just being on PlayStation and PC. That game has had
Yeah.
such an audience. So now for it to come to the rest of the consoles, it is going to be such a warm welcoming. I'm sure that game is going to thrive.
Maybe I'll win some because it's crossplay too. So maybe I'll actually be able to finish a final round and own some noobs.
I've never played the game.
It is being, if you don't already have it on Steam, in case you didn't know, Fall Guys developer was purchased by Epic. So if you don't already own it on Steam, it's going to be delisted from Steam. You'll need to have obviously purchased it, have it installed on your computer right now, and update it on Steam for you to be able to play it after it's delisted.
Damn you, Epic!
Yeah. Right now, as it is, when you log in to Fall Guys on Steam, it asks you to create an Epic account. So you have to create an Epic account just to play the game. Anyway. So I'm sure the transition will be fairly easy because you already have an account. So I don't think that part is going to necessarily be an issue. Like I said, crossplay will be supported. And existing owners, so people that already own the game because they paid for it and now it's going free to play, existing owners will get a free legacy pack, which includes 3 costumes and access to the premium season pass that will run alongside the normal season pass.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Yes.
At least it didn't just like, you bought it already. Sucks for you.
Yeah, at least they're giving you something. I agree. They did announce that they do have a custom creator in the works, but it is not in a position to be released soon. But that'd be great. Having the user-generated content, that will really help people stay in the game between seasons.
Have you seen the amount of sadistic people that have made maps in Mario Maker?
Yeah, I can only imagine what's going to come out of that.
Yeah.
Fall Guy.
Have you seen the people that are willing to play these sadistic maps? Like, there's
smacking their head off a wall trying to get through some of them.
there's a lot of masochists out there for the sadists to pleasure. So
That's Game Grumps doing Mario Maker is one of. It's like there's a few times they spent like 3 episodes on the same level.
yeah,
Because they can't beat it. You're like see Aaron go with like the stages of grief. It's great.
Game Grumps make some good content. That's for sure.
I like the boys.
Yeah. So that's I obviously have mentioned Fall Guys is one of the few, if only, multiplayer game that I am good at, B, I actually enjoy playing. Maybe it's because I am not bad at it that I enjoy playing it. Who knows? Who's to say? I did not play any of the last season. Not necessarily for lack of wanting to, just lack of time. But I'm willing to get back into it. Get that Epic account sorted out, and get that legacy pack and everything. I'm down.
Yeah, I'll have to pick the game up. It just didn't really seem like a game that was worth the price tag to me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, I got it for free on my PlayStation. That's the only reason I was even would have ever tried it in the first place.
Because when it first released, it released on, what was it, PlayStation Plus, or was it PlayStation Now?
PlayStation Plus.
It was PlayStation Plus, yeah. So it released on their subscription service. So
oh, gotcha.
So
Yeah, we don't get that on PC.
yeah. I mean, you can get a subscription service on PC. Actually, there's a few, but Xbox Game Pass is on PC. That gives you access to EA Origin's subscription service. And soon, I know Ubisoft has expressed that they want to be on all of the services. They're already on Luna, Stadia, and they're coming to PlayStation. So I'm sure it's not long before Ubisoft's subscription is on Xbox as well.
Yeah, for sure.
This is down a bit of a different path, but Stadia still like. How are they faring? I've not heard anything about them since they came out.
They're not faring good. They're on life support, basically. I think, actually, Google itself is, like, washed its hands of it, but there's still some people trying to support the platform.
It seems that way, because I've not heard anything, I've not seen anything about it. It's just kind of like, it's vanished.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Which, I mean, it's streaming
yeah.
games. Like, that's its thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, unless you have very good internet, like, you're not really going to be able to use it anyways. And a lot of people don't have that kind of internet that'd be able to uphold that kind of...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, streaming.
Yeah, right now, and the price is prohibitive, too, because I was looking at getting gig internet, and it was like, it's like $200 for gig internet, whereas right now, I managed to get a deal with Comcast, which I know how Comcast internet is. You don't have to tell me, comment levers or whatever. I know. But I managed to get a bundle where I got 400 down, and as well as with cable and everything, and I pay the same amount I would pay just exclusively for gig internet.
I mean, that's about all you'd really need for a majority of things that you'd be doing.
Yeah.
Unless it's like something very particular, like streaming a game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it works for us. And, for streaming on Twitch, too, it works very well. The only problem I've ever had, and I fixed it fairly early on with my streams, is I normally stream during the third shift times, because I work third shift, so on my days off I'll stream. The automatic setting, like the default setting for Comcast to do restart on their systems, is at 4 a.m. So I'd be streaming, and then Comcast did its restart, and it's like, oh I just lost stream.
Oh, no.
I just lost connection.
That sucks. See, I've got I don't know, it's just my stuff, it seems like. No one else notices it, which I guess everyone else just uses the internet to watch TV or whatnot anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But, my devices don't like the internet. I'll get booted off every few hours, just out of nowhere. And then it goes, the network disappears, and then I have to wait for it to come back up again. So it's like, cool, I just got kicked out of an Apex match, or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't had it happen for me during
everyone.
On my computers, but yeah, my phone will get kicked off the internet every now and then, and I wonder how much of it has to do with the amount of devices.
It could very well be part of it. I mean, we've had points where it's like I wasn't able to connect to it just because the amount exceeded the limit, so I had to start disconnecting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which is crazy that they still have device limits with everything and its mother operating on internet these days. You have fridges operating on internet. You have printers operating on it. Well, I say printers operating. That's something that doesn't happen. But yeah, printers that are supposed to operate on internet. Don't get me started on printers, man. I have a lot to say on those.
Do you have a printer?
Yeah, I do have a printer. We need it for school documents and so forth.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those things we don't use it very often because who really needs a printer anymore? Honestly.
For sure.
But
For sure. That's what I was thinking.
So when we do need to use it, every single time I have to troubleshoot. It doesn't just print when you need to print. The printer technology is stuck in 06. It's like, come on, update yourself. I don't need to troubleshoot every time I need to print something.
Yeah, I've got to deal with one at work every day. It's one of those giant, dingy white.
Oh, you like the office style printer?
Yeah, the office style one. It's got a little tiny keyboard that pulls out from the bottom of it you can use for the panel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a piece of junk.
Yeah. But yeah, they're supposed to operate on the internet. A lot of times I end up just connecting to my computer through a printer cable. And just doing it like that. But yeah, there's so many devices anymore that just use internet. Why are we still limiting devices? Why is there still data caps at this point? I don't understand that either. Why do we still have data caps? Everything uses internet. Why are we... The infrastructure just isn't there.
So you gotta pay that extra money to get that upgrade.
The law... Well,
you need it, so you're gonna get it.
Yeah. It's just the ISP companies can get away with it because the government is so far behind on internet laws about the internet, so to speak. So these internet companies can get away with it because they know the lawmakers aren't going to do jack shit. And even if they try to do jack shit, all they have to do is just pay them off, and there you go. Bada boom, bada bing. They can still treat their customers like shit. As you can see, I have a very negative outlook on big corporations.
And printers, apparently.
And printers. Why can't they just work? That's all I ask, is for you to do your job.
You have one singular purpose, and you can't even do that.
Oh, man. At least they don't cuss me out.
Give it a little bit. Look at Siri integration in here.
Oh, yeah. Alexa, please print out the document. I'm tired of this printer. Fuck you. Oh, okay, cool.
Sure.
Oh, man. Well, if you liked or didn't like this podcast, make sure to do all of the things, like hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and hitting that bell on youtube.com/the XofPlays, or giving it on a high rating on whatever podcast service you use, so you can find like-minded people. I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefingroom, we actually have content, and you can financially support the show and get cool rewards as well. That's all from us. Take care.